I'm going to answer 3 questions here because they're all in the realm of the upper GI. What's in the upper GI? Above the belly button, your stomach, and then the coils of your small intestine. So if you have symptoms that are gassy and bloaty in that area, then that is indicative of either a SIBO or a SIFO, meaning a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, a small intestinal fungal overgrowth, or both. And yes, it can cause enough pressure because, gases want to rise up, right? So if you have a gas in your small intestine, the path of least resistance is going to be up, right? It's not going to travel 25 feet to get into your colon and then go out that way. That's more gas that's produced in the large intestine or colon. So small intestine, putting pressure can put pressure on the gastric acid secretions and give you symptoms of heartburn. For sure, that's a possibility. Not always is that the case, but that is definitely a possibility. I've seen that clinically. And I think the other person was asking about just upper, like above the belly button, gassiness and bloating. So SIBO or SIFO. It can be either of those. It can be both. Remember, there's a gastroenterologist, Dr. Rao, who practices in the southern United States. He's from India, so he has a little bit of a broader perspective from having gone to medical school outside of the U.S. And so what he did was he took all of his patients who had that upper GI gassiness, and when he went down there to do his endoscopy, so he checked everything out, he took a sample, and then he sent that sample off for culture to a lab for culture. And what they found was the majority of people with that symptom had a mixed SIBO, SIFO. Then next up was SIFO, fungal overgrowth fermenting, and then finally SIBO. So yes, it can be whenever you're fermenting, right? Fermenting means producing gas. Like when you make bread and you add the sugar to the yeast and the water and the flour, and then you let it sit and it rises, that's carbon dioxide gas coming off of yeast, which is why we can't measure it in a breath test, because we also breathe out carbon dioxide gas. So the breath tests are reserved for bacterial overgrowth, but it could just as easily be a fungal overgrowth, and that's why I use the GI1 powder first and foremost before anything else with my patients, because it is really, really helpful at eradicating both bacterial and yeast species. So it's not like you have that problem, the same problem you would with using a straight antibiotic like Xifaxan, or even Xifaxan with an antifungal like fluconazole. I still see people that come in that have been through that, and they're still symptomatic. We use the GI1 powder, we go through the titration and the full dosing, and oftentimes that's enough to eradicate those residual gassy, bloaty upper GI symptoms.